tell you this. I have meditated for decades. I have read the Bible. I have read the Bhagavad Gita. I have read the Zohar, which is a Kabbalistic book. I have read the teachings of Buddha from cover to freaking cover. I have read portions of the Quran. I have been to Bali. I have studied Hinduism. I have been to Peru. I have sat with shamans. I have been in sweat lodges. I have imbibed plant medicines. Over these last freaking 20 years, I have freaking done more spiritual stuff than you can probably imagine or would want to even know about. Because I promise you, some of those experiences were not easy, especially the ayahuasca experiences. And this is what I can tell you for an absolute fact. There ain't no sky daddy. There ain't no Jesus coming to save you.
And that's enough out of her fucking mouth. I want to start off by giving all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rokah, Quadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders, prophets, and teachers of GMS who rule well. Now, I myself am not a part of GMS, but through the power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, I was able to come across these brothers and get this 100% truth. As you can see, we got another Eve going out there, jumping into many different doctrines, just like Eve did in the garden. And I know you Christians been pushing that Eve ate some fruit that somehow gave her wisdom. But no, she actually ingested another doctrine. And we're going to prove that. And we're going to start with the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh, our power, had made. Now before we can continue, we're going to go into the word serpent. Got it right here, serpent. Now the serpent. And in that word, we're going to go into the etymology.
Strong's H, 5172. Nachash. Nachash.
That goes into to practice divination, divine observe signs, learn by experience, diligently observe, practice fortune telling, take as an omen, practice divination. That's going into one that practices divination, man. So it's not a literal snake. This is talking about a person that practices divination. Let's get that. Let's prove that. Because men were likened unto trees. This is the book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. So the serpent in the tree is a man that practices divination. And we know the practice of divination is a sin. Let's grab that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 10. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. Listen closely. Or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. So divination is a no-go, man. But with the serpent in the tree being a person that practices divination, right? That would mean there had to be more people, other than Adam and Eve. That whole doctrine that Adam and Eve were the first, that's a false doctrine. That's impossible. Because you got to remember that Cain went out and he got a wife. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence of Yahweh and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife. Who was his wife if Adam and Eve were the only ones? And she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. So this alone proves that there had to be other people other than Adam and Eve, man. And if the spirit is dwelling with you, you're going to know this to be true. Now, that was a lot that we had to break down. We digressed a lot because this is a lot of meat in Genesis, man. Let's read this over. Now, the serpent, which we know to be one that practices divination, was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh, your power, had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath power said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Now we understand that tree goes into people. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, power hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Now, when it's talking about fruit, that's going into the doctrine, man. So the fruit of the divination would be the practices, man.
And you notice that the serpent went to Eve because he knew that Eve was the weaker vessel and that he could easily trick her, man. And the serpent, that really goes back into Esau, Edom, because that old serpent, you got to remember, let me just grab the scripture.
We got Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, the one that was in the garden, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now we're going to go into that word devil right here, the devil.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
All right, now we get that outline biblical usage. Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. Who falsely accuses Israel every day, man? Esau, Edom. And also Esau accused Jacob of stealing his birthright, did he not? When Jacob didn't steal it. So guess what? That same spirit that was in the serpent in the garden is the same spirit that's in Esau, Edom today. And if you notice, Esau, Edom doing the same thing. They go after the woman. That's why you have situations like welfare and Section 8. There could be no man in the house if you're going to get those benefits. Esau, Edom needs the man out of the house so he can control the woman. And those women that have husbands, he still infiltrates the woman and get in their head. And that's why he's pushing feminism and all types of shit. He's breaking up the house and he's starting with the woman. He's using the woman. That's exactly why you got women on TikTok, like the woman you saw in the beginning of this video, spreading nonsense, man. She's doing the opposite of what she's supposed to be doing. The woman is supposed to be in subjection to her husband and obedient. She's not supposed to be teaching anything. Because what happened when a woman went out and started teaching? Look at Adam and Eve, man. Perfect example. It is really late in the game. These women got to get in line and got to get in order. And the women who trying to get their shit together, stay away from women like the one you saw in the beginning of this video, man. They're going to be the death of you. This was just a quick breakdown. It was a lot of jumping around because you can't just touch one part of this and not try to explain, everything. And if you have questions, if you have more questions or you need a further breakdown, just hit me up in the comment section. And that's all I got for you right now. And with that, shalom.